Another day, another story. Hello and welcome to the channel, where we explore the history and origins of some of the most popular beverages in the world. Today we're going to dive into the fascinating world of whiskey, one of the oldest and most beloved alcoholic drinks in existence. Whiskey, also known as whiskey, is a distilled spirit made from fermented grain, usually barley, corn, or rye. The exact origins of whiskey are not clear, but it is believed to have been first produced in Ireland and Scotland over 1,000 years ago. History of whiskey. The production of whiskey can be traced back to the Middle Ages, when Irish and Scottish monks distilled spirits as a way of preserving excess grain. Over time, the production of whiskey became an important part of the local economy, and by the 17th century, it had become a popular drink in Scotland and Ireland. Spread of whiskey. As the British Empire expanded, so did the popularity of whiskey. In the 18th century, whiskey production spread to the American colonies, where it became an important part of the local economy. Today, whiskey is produced all over the world, from Scotland and Ireland to the United States, Canada, Japan, and beyond. Types of whiskey. There are many different types of whiskey, each with its own unique flavor and production process. Some of the most popular types of whiskey include Scotch whiskey, Irish whiskey, bourbon, rye, and Japanese whiskey. Scotch whiskey. Scotch whiskey is a type of whiskey that is made in Scotland, and it is one of the most famous and beloved types of whiskey in the world. To be considered a Scotch whiskey, the spirit must be made from malted barley, water, and yeast, and it must be aged in oak casks for at least 3 years. Irish whiskey. Irish whiskey is another popular type of whiskey that is made in Ireland. Unlike Scotch whiskey, Irish whiskey can be made from a variety of grains, including barley, corn, and rye. Irish whiskey is also typically distilled 3 times, which gives it a smoother and lighter flavor than Scotch whiskey. Bourbon. Bourbon is a type of whiskey that is made in the United States, and it is one of the most popular types of whiskey in the world. To be considered a bourbon, the spirit must be made from a mixture of corn, barley, and rye, and it must be aged in new oak barrels for at least 2 years. Rye and Japanese whiskey. Rye whiskey is another popular type of whiskey that is made in the United States. Unlike bourbon, rye whiskey is made from a mixture of rye, corn, and barley. Japanese whiskey, on the other hand, is a type of whiskey that is made in Japan, and it is known for its smooth and sophisticated flavor. Distillation process. Whiskey is produced through a process called distillation. Distillation is the process of heating fermented grain mash to produce alcohol vapor, which is then cooled and condensed back into a liquid form. The distilled liquid, also known as new-make spirit, is then aged in oak barrels to develop its flavor and character. Barrel aging. Barrel aging is a critical part of the whiskey-making process, as it allows the spirit to interact with the wood and develop a rich and complex flavor profile. The type of barrel used for aging, as well as the length of time it is aged, can have a significant impact on the final flavor of the whiskey. Flavor profiles. The flavor of whiskey can vary greatly depending on the type of grain used, the distillation process, the type of barrel used for aging, and the length of time it is aged. Some of the most common flavor notes in whiskey include caramel, vanilla, oak, fruit, and spice. Popularity and cultural significance. Whiskey has been enjoyed for centuries, and it remains one of the most popular alcoholic drinks in the world. In many countries, whiskey is seen as a symbol of tradition and heritage, and it is often associated with special occasions and celebrations. Consumption and production. Whiskey is consumed all over the world, and it is produced in many countries, including Scotland, Ireland, the United States, Canada, Japan, and more. Each country has its own unique style of whiskey production, and the flavor profiles of their whiskeys reflect this diversity. Conclusion. Whiskey is a timeless and beloved drink that has been enjoyed for centuries. Whether it's sipped neat, on the rocks, or as part of a cocktail, whiskey has a rich and complex flavor that makes it one of the most popular alcoholic beverages in the world. So next time you raise a glass of whiskey to your lips, take a moment to appreciate the distillation process, the barrel aging, and the cultural significance that make this drink so special. And there you have it, a brief history of whiskey and the different types of whiskey that are enjoyed all over the world. From its humble beginnings in Ireland and Scotland to its spread across the world, whiskey has come a long way in the past 1,000 years. Thanks for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on our next adventure. Thanks for watching.